Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked down at your body, and realized that something is no longer the same? The strength that once came naturally, effortlessly, almost like an instinct every morning now disappears, or appears only faintly. Many men over 60 think this is simply a sign of aging, that their bodies are past their prime, or that their testosterone has run out. But the truth isn't that. In more than 14 years of working with hundreds of older patients, I discovered something extremely important. Morning strength doesn't fade because the body is old. It fades because 3 activation points on your body have gone into a dormant state. Not broken, not damaged, just no longer awakened each day. Like a door no one has opened for a long time. And the surprising thing is, when these 3 points are activated correctly, even men who are 70 or 75 can naturally restore their morning strength without medication, without devices. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what those 3 points are, why they matter so much, and how pressing them for just a few minutes a day can help you restore the natural ability you thought you had lost forever. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, a board-certified urologist, and throughout 14 years of working with older men in clinical settings, I've seen one thing repeat over and over. They try to fix the right problem, but they start in the wrong place. Most of them have tried everything: boosters, supplements, pumps, and even methods they wouldn't dare mention to anyone. They invest time, money, and hope, yet the result is still disappointment. And when they walk into my office, the sentence I hear most often is, "Doctor, it must be because of age." But I always look them straight in the eye and say something very few people have ever told them. No, this is not because of aging. This is because the signaling pathways and circulation inside your body have been silent for too long. The male body doesn't simply lose its ability. It loses activation, the neural signals, the circulatory responses that used to fire naturally when you were young. They're not broken. They're just no longer awakened. And what made me dedicate my entire career to this topic is a simple but hopeful truth. Those signaling pathways can be awakened again, completely naturally, just by stimulating the 3 points on the body that most men have ignored their whole lives. Today, I want to give you that understanding. No complexity, no mystery, and no medication needed. Just a reconnection between you and your body, something many men lose without ever noticing. Before we go deeper, I want to invite you to join the community. We're building a community for men over 60 who refuse to accept that their vitality has an expiration date. Let me know one simple thing. Where are you watching this video from? The United States? Canada? Australia? The Philippines? India? Or somewhere else in the world? I read every comment, and it's always special to see men from so many countries share one common goal: reclaiming their natural strength. And if you'd like to help me understand your journey a bit more, leave a small number in the comments. Type 1 if you believe your body still has the ability to recover. Type 0 if you feel doubtful because you've tried so many things without success. There is no wrong answer. I just want to know where you are right now and help you see that you're not alone. Now, before I show you where those 3 important activation points are located, I want you to clearly understand one very basic yet extremely important truth about morning strength. A truth that, unfortunately, very few doctors ever explain to older men. A natural morning erection is not a sexual reflex. It is a sign that 3 systems in your body are functioning smoothly. The pelvic nerve pathways, the flow of blood through the arteries in the thigh and lower abdominal region, and the relaxation response of the parasympathetic nervous system, the system that allows your body to rest and recover. When you were young, these 3 systems worked naturally and automatically. Your body didn't need reminders or stimulation. In the middle of the night, during deep sleep, nerve signals activated on their own. Blood vessels widened, and strong, healthy blood flowed into the pelvic region, exactly as your body was designed. But once you pass 60, something subtle begins to happen. Those signals gradually weaken, not because they are damaged, not because your body is old, but because they are no longer activated, often like a path that becomes dusty when fewer people walk on it. The interesting thing is, Both Western and Eastern medicine indicate that the body has certain intersection points, places where nerves, blood vessels, and muscles meet. When you touch, press, or apply gentle, correct pressure on these points, the body sends a clear signal down to the pelvic region, almost as if saying, "Wake up, it's time to start working again." I've seen many men in their 60 seconds, 70 seconds, even 80 seconds, regain their morning ability simply by reactivating these 3 points every day, even after they thought their hope was completely gone, like the case of David, 69, who once told me, "Doctor, I think I've completely lost it." But just 10 days of consistent practice later, he returned with a smile. "I'll never forget. This morning, I felt something I haven't felt in 4 years." Your body still holds that ability. It's simply waiting for the right signal from you. And now, I'm going to show you activation point number 1, the point I call the power switch of the pelvis, where everything begins. The first point, the pelvic power switch. The first point I want you to place your hand on is what I call the power switch of the entire pelvic region. You'll find it right at the intersection between the lower abdomen and the pubic bone, a place almost every man has touched, but never in the correct way, with the correct intention. Beneath that small, bony ridge lies a very important structure, medically known as the inferior hypergastric plexus. This isn't a single nerve, it's a dense network of nerves that send direct signals to the bladder, prostate, pelvic floor, and the base of the penis. In other words, this is the starter station for your entire natural sexual function. When you were younger, this area worked effortlessly, without you needing to do anything. But after years of sitting too much, lack of lower abdominal movement, prolonged stress, and most importantly, a disconnection from your own body, those once strong signals grow quieter. That's why when you press the correct point here, your body responds as if it's being awakened. Blood vessels open, smooth muscle fibers relax, and nerve pathways send their first signals telling the system it's time to work again. Here's how to do it. Lie on your back and bend your knees slightly so your lower abdomen is relaxed. Place your palm on your lower abdomen with your fingers pointing toward the pubic bone. Then press downward and slightly inward with just enough pressure to feel some depth, but still remain comfortable. Hold this position while taking 12 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds and exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. Each breath brings more oxygen into the pelvic region, helping the nerve network slowly wake up. Some men feel warmth after 3-4 days. Others need 2 weeks. But most tell me that the first thing they notice isn't the physical change. It's the feeling of reconnecting with their own body. And this is only the first point. The second point, which might make you hesitate at first, is actually the most crucial piece of the puzzle. I'll explain it right after this. The second point I want you to touch may make many older men feel hesitant. It sits right between the scrotum and the anus, an area most men only think about when washing, but almost never touch with awareness or intention. I understand that. In many conversations with my patients, quite a few of them have told me, "Doctor, that area feels a little strange." But it is often those very men, the ones who hesitated the most, who achieved results the fastest. Let me explain why. The perineum lies directly over the prostate, the root of the penis, and the pudendal nerve, the nerve responsible for sensation, reflexes, and the ability to maintain natural firmness. As we age, blood flow in this area often becomes sluggish, and the nerves gradually lose sensitivity, not because they're damaged, but because they lack stimulation, movement, and presence. But when you apply gentle pressure to this area in the right way, for the right amount of time, blood begins to move again, the nerves wake up, and the entire pelvic region becomes alive after years of being ignored. I remember very clearly the story of James, 74, a retired teacher from Canada. As soon as I mentioned working on the perineum, he leaned back and shook his head. "Doctor, I don't think I can do that." But then I asked him a simple question. If just 5 minutes a day could return to you something you've lost for 5 years, would you be willing to try? James went silent, then nodded. 2 weeks later, When he walked into my office, I could see the difference in his eyes immediately. He said quietly, "Doctor, I was wrong to doubt it. This was the missing piece, and you can absolutely experience the same. Here is how to do it. Sit on a rolled towel, a firm yoga block, or a small cushion. The key is not to sit hard, but to sit with intention, allowing gentle pressure to be applied directly to the perineum. Hold this position for about 5 minutes, breathing deeply and evenly. The first few days may feel unfamiliar, but after about a week, many men describe feelings of warmth, tingling, or even revival signs that your pelvic region is reconnecting, and once this second point is activated, you are more than halfway there. The third point will open the most important blood highway that strengthens your morning vitality. Before we move to the third activation point, the one I consider the main blood highway for morning strength, I want to ask you something honest. If just 5 minutes a day, using light pressure and the right breathing technique, could return to you something you've been missing for years, would you be willing to try? Let me know with a small sign in the comments. Type 1 if you're willing to try, even just once. Type 0 if the idea still makes you hesitant. There is no right or wrong choice. Every man has his own journey, his own pace, and his own boundaries. Sharing that number not only helps me understand you better, it also helps other men reading the comments feel that they are not alone in this. I've seen so many men move past their initial hesitation, and what they gained in return was a confidence they thought they would never experience again. Like James, who once said he couldn't do it, but ended up being one of the fastest to recover. Sometimes, a single number is all it takes to begin reconnecting with your own body. And now, when you're ready, well, move on to activation point number 3, the point that holds the key to restoring the strongest flow down into your pelvic region. The third point is located in a place most men never pay attention to, the crease between the inner thigh and the pelvis. Just beneath the thin layer of skin in this area lies the femoral artery, one of the largest arteries in the body, and the very pathway every drop of blood must travel through before reaching the pelvic region and the base of the penis. If this area becomes tight, contracted, or restricted due to long hours of sitting, low activity, or tight inner thigh muscles that are never stretched, blood flow gets folded, like a bent water hose. And when blood cannot pass freely, morning strength slowly declines until it disappears completely. I once met Patrick, 67, a former marathon runner. When I pressed gently along his groin line, he flinched and said, "Doctor, I didn't know that spot was so sore." That soreness was a sign of blockage, and the exact point his body had been waiting to release. Here is how to do it. Lie on your back with your legs relaxed. Use your fingertips to trace the groin line from the hip down the thigh. Find the tender or tight points, those are where blood flow is restricted. When you find them, simply hold steady pressure for 60 seconds while breathing deeply. Many men say that after just a few days, their legs feel lighter and the pelvic region feels unlocked. These 3 points, when activated together, create a powerful chain reaction that reboots the natural ability your body was designed to have. When you combine all 3 points, the lower abdomen, the perineum, and the groin line, your body initiates a natural sequence that has been silent for years. Nerve signals awaken, blood flow becomes clear, and your pelvic region gradually returns to its original rhythm. Nothing about these techniques forces the body. They simply reopen doors that have been shut for years due to stress, inactivity, and disconnection from yourself. And once those doors open, the body takes over gently, naturally, just as it did when you were young. Many men over 60 have told me that the first thing they notice is not a dramatic change, but a sense of aliveness, warmth, sensitivity, and presence returning to their pelvic region. And that's when they realize their body never gave up. It was just waiting to be awakened correctly. Now that you know how to reactivate the 3 most important points on your body, I want to share 5 simple but incredibly effective habits. These are the habits that 78% of my patients say helped them improve faster, deeper, and far more sustainably. The first habit is morning belly breathing. Just 5 minutes. When you inhale slowly through your nose and let your belly rise, Then exhale long through your mouth. Your parasympathetic nervous system, the system of relaxation and recovery, is activated. Once the body enters a deep relaxation state, natural physiological signals become much stronger. The second habit is drinking a glass of warm water before coffee or breakfast. After a long night, your blood is often thicker and circulation is slower. Warm water gently thins the blood, preparing your entire circulatory system, especially the pelvic region, to function better throughout the day. The third habit is stopping sugar after 6 p.m. Sugar damages the endothelium, the delicate lining inside your blood vessels. When that lining weakens, blood flow to the pelvic region drops significantly. Simply cutting evening sugar has helped many men see their morning strength return unexpectedly. The fourth habit is walking for 15 minutes after dinner. Light walking activates the calf muscles, which act as a natural pump, sending blood from the legs back to the pelvis. Good evening circulation sets the stage for pelvic restoration while you sleep. And the fifth habit is touching your body each day with respect. This may sound simple, but it is profound. Many men go their entire lives only touching their bodies when showering, dressing, or when something hurts. But awareness connection is one of the strongest signals that tells the body it is still being cared for, activated, and awakened. When you combine the 3 activation points with these 5 habits, your body doesn't just change physically, it changes mentally. You become more present, more confident, and more aware that your vitality is returning. And now, I want you to imagine how this entire journey will unfold over the next few weeks. That's what we will explore next. When you practice the 3 activation points along with the 5 habits each day, your body won't change overnight, but it will change in a clear and predictable way. In the first week, most men feel warmth in the pelvic region, lighter legs, and more sensitivity when touching the activation points. This is a sign that nerves and blood vessels are beginning to respond again. By the second week, many start noticing gentle morning signals, not strong, not obvious, but noticeably different from the silence they had before. By the 4th week, most report that their morning ability becomes more regular, more noticeable, more natural, and most importantly, they feel present in their body in a way they haven't felt in years. This is not magic. This is restoration, exactly as your body was originally designed to function. My dear friend, if there is one thing I want you to remember after this entire journey, it is this: your body has never given up on you. It has only been silent because it hasn't received the signals it needed to wake up again. Morning strength is not luck. It is not something that disappears forever when you turn 60 or 70. It is simply a natural ability waiting to be awakened in the right way. Through many years of working with older men, I've discovered something truly beautiful. As soon as they begin touching their bodies with awareness, as soon as they allow themselves to reconnect, their body responds faster than they ever expected. You are not declining. You are entering a new stage of life, one where awareness, attentiveness, and intentional action matter more than ever. And when you practice these simple steps every day, you don't just regain your natural strength, you reclaim a part of yourself, your confidence, your presence, and your sense of feeling fully alive again. Before we end, I want to ask you something very simple, yet it helps me understand your journey much better. Among the 3 activation points today, which one surprised you the most? Was it the lower abdomen, the power switch of the pelvic region? Was it the perineum, the area almost no one has ever stimulated correctly? Or was it the groin line, the blood highway most men never pay attention to? Leave your answer below in the comments. I read every single comment, and your sharing doesn't just help me. It helps many other men realize they are not alone on this journey. If this video was helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you liked the video, subscribed to Senior Men Health Secrets, and turned on the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming guidance on circulation, natural strength, and men's health after 60. What you're doing today, even just a few minutes each morning, is your body's reminder that you still care, you're still in control, and you still want to live a fuller life. Thank you for spending your time here with me. I'll see you in the next videos. where we'll continue exploring how older men can regain vitality, confidence, and their natural performance.